Thanks for staying with us. So today we're discussing Kemi Badenoch. Most Nigerians have been criticizing the British Conservative Party leader, Kemi Badenoch, in her apparent response to a comment denigrating the West African country, Nigeria, where obviously she spent her childhood. According to her, she says, I grew up in Nigeria, and I saw firsthand what happens when politicians are in it for themselves. Then they use public money as their private piggy banks. When they promise the earth and pollute it, not just the air, but the whole political atmosphere with their failure to serve. I saw what socialism is for millions, it's poverty and broken dreams. I came to Britain to make my way in a country where hard work and honest endeavor can take you anywhere. Now, that was her position, and many Nigerians have criticized her for various reasons. What are your general thoughts on this woman? It's an interesting conversation because there are 2 or 3 sides to this. Some are supporting her, saying that she has not lied in any way of her experience. Others have said because you are totally against the identity politics does not mean that you should denigrate where you're coming from. Others are saying, let her be. That doesn't really matter. She doesn't have to identify with Nigeria. What are your own thoughts? You can call us on 081 0764 1679, 090 241 63440. You can also send us messages on YouTube and on X. We'll be happy to read your messages. All right. This was very interesting to me, especially because I'm exactly the same age as this woman, 44. So my experiences with her are very similar. And when she's speaking, I can almost see where she's coming from because I was also affected by the political atmosphere. It was the military regime. My father was also arrested, thrown in prison for human rights and the whole works. And there was a lot of fear. And one of the reasons why my mother had to ship me especially, out of the country. So I understand the political atmosphere she's referring to. However, would I need to highlight that today if I become the prime minister or if I become the party leader in my country of choice or wherever I migrate to? I'm not sure. So the conversation should she say what she's saying, or should we allow her to express her truth, which is her experience? You cannot tell somebody to not share their real life experiences. That's the conversation. Who would like to go first? Ramatu?
Okay, so I love her and I love her perspective actually because she's coming from a point of this lady, Abike Dabiri, reached out to her and, trying to, form some kind of business or something with her. And that was when she came out and she said, leave me alone. I don't want to associate myself with a country that's, with all those things you mentioned, political imbalance and all of that. And that was when she started saying all her private stuff. And when the private things she went through were really very terrible because she said something like that when she was in Nigeria, when she came back to Nigeria, that there's no electricity and she was using candle to study.
Amatu, do you know all in this country?
She carried so, but she's in a better place now, so that's why she's at least highlighting the whole thing. And she doesn't want to be part of the, she doesn't want anybody to bring her into it. Right. So why is everybody attacking her and saying, but everything she has said is the truth. Okay. She has said the truth and all based on her experiences and what she went through when she was in Nigeria.
Right. Okay, Amaka, I want to jump in?
Yes, so people should be allowed to say their truth. This is her own experience when she lived here. My experience, your experience. We are 4 people living in Nigeria. We might have different experiences of our stay so far in Nigeria, right? So this is her truth. And then whereby someone is reaching out to her, from what she said, it's not like she just woke up one day and then started talking about Nigeria or bashing Nigeria experiences in Nigeria. Someone reached out to her from Nigeria to say, come to Nigeria. Let's do something together, And she says, based on my experience in Nigeria, I don't think I want to do this. You don't blame her. She used candle, and our national grid has collapsed how many times? Even yesterday, there was no light. You cannot blame her. As in, we also need to foster a nation where that encourages people to want to come in, invest in the country, and do stuff. If manufacturers, producers, companies, organizations want to come in now, at least now let's have the basic needs, the electricity, which she did not enjoy while she was in Nigeria. She's living in the UK where she's enjoying steady electricity. So you don't really blame her for owning her truth and speaking her truth.
Okay, before I come to Nima, let me just give us a bit of a background of who this person is. So she was born in London. Her parents brought her back to Nigeria at a young age. Her father was a GP while her mother was, I guess, was a professor in America. And they moved her to the US at the time, where she lived between Lagos. She was in Lagos for a while. And then she moved to the US. And then from the US, at the age of 16, she moved to the UK. She's been a politician from the age of 25. She got joined into the Conservative Party, and where she went up the ranks. And currently, she is now the Conservative Party leader. And she's actually the very first, I mean, according to some of the documents I have her, she's the very first British Conservative Party leader of an immigrant leader, first generation. And she also is a staunch critic of identity politics, which is where we use our identity for political objectives.
Yeah.
Now, she is somebody who has been criticized because she totally focuses on her conservative views, not so much on her identity or where she's coming from, because according to her, her identity has formed her perspective to be a complete right-wing person. So she is totally saying that where she's coming from has formed who she is, but she rather focus on her conservative views and not her background. And it seems like a lot of Nigerians are having issues with that. Let me come to you, Nima. What are your own thoughts on this?
Okay, so I don't agree that she's focused on her conservative views alone. So where such conservative views will be strictly British policies. You know, there's hardly a point I've seen her make in public that has not referred to how, that has not denigrated her state, her country of origin, which is Nigeria. She's always, I don't know whether she's appealing to the white. I call it Kolo mentality whenever I hear her speak. She's very British mentally. And so she makes excuses for why she has to be accepted in the British space. She wants to be more English than the Englishman personally. So she makes comments denigrating, you know, condemning. I bought candles in JS3 throughout secondary schools. We had a lantern, we cleaned the glass, and that's my story. Yeah. But that's not my kid's story. By the time before I gave birth, before I ever had a child, I had a solar paneled house. I have inverters in my house. So that's not my kid's story. So do I force my kids to live in my past or enjoy their future?
Sure. Yeah.
You know, so that's not my story. I don't understand why, because of political reasons. Maybe tomorrow if I want to do political reasons and I want to appeal to the less privileged so that I can gain their votes, I'll start to talk about when I used to clean candle, use thread to cook. But I stopped cooking with stove at age 9. And that's the reality, because my father, for whatever reason, thought gas was cheaper, and we had a gas, tabletop gas. So if I want to tell story now, make it sweet, I will, if I give you the juice of that time, I will juice it very well.
Even me, I have my own juices. Because I used to have crank letters. My father used to have these letters. They'll write you that it will kill you today. I can put that together. You
can put that together.
And become the leader of
yes. But you know, if we were having a conversation in another space with Nigerians, and you said, you know, I have seen crank letters before, and you mentioned that you are Kabashoru's daughter, and you know, it has credibility. Yes. But what I see Kemi do, you know, I saw this video of her talking about why there shouldn't be compensation for slave trade. And I found it so distasteful. She's black, her hair is black, she looks everything African, but mentally, she's so British. Such an excuse for an African, that's what I see. It's almost as if I'm white now. I'm married to white, and I'm more white than anybody else. Why it's such
Well, the
level?
question I'll ask Nima wait, honey, let me ask the questions. The truth is that isn't any human being allowed to have conservative views? Even if, yes, I am black, but I can choose to be conservative. Just you must accept me for who I am. Must I be like you?
So, why not? You can have your views, but you cannot now draw the line of criticism when it affects a majority. Slave trade is a reality. The way your truth is your truth. Okay. It's the truth of a race. Yeah. We were watching this movie, Hidden Figures. I just wanted to use it to inspire my daughter. And they had so many questions.
Yeah.
Mommy, why would they not use the kettle? Why did they not touch her book? But this woman is brilliant. They had so many, and I was like, this was what I was dealing with when my father thought he was educating me by borrowing me those books. This was what I was dealing with mentally. In that place, I kept thinking, why did they choose us to punish so much, with so much hate and vile? And I've not even gotten out of it. I cannot understand hatred towards my race till date. So imagine my child now growing up and asking those questions at 12. I'm wondering, well, calm down, we explain. We took time off the movie that is not up to how many hours. We watched it for 5 hours because I kept explaining. Now, that's the truth of your people. That truth, you cannot sweep it under the carpet to win political gain. No. Even if your truth is that you watch Can't you live in Surulere. Surulere, when I was growing up, was a privileged neighborhood. Yeah. Till date, if you pass through Surulere, you cannot rent a house of less than 2 million in that neighborhood. Yes, our power grid is still having issues today. But we know that there was middle class. Initially, you agreed that you are from middle class, maybe to gain certain favors. Then you go back and say middle class was even a poor class. I've read so much of her. I'm happy a Nigerian is leading the Conservative Party in Britain. I'm happy she's doing so well career-wise, but I'm not happy with the kind of stand she takes against people she shares blood, color, and race with.
Okay, point taken.
Yeah.
Aka's going to jump in here.
Yeah, I wanted to jump in by saying that regardless of like everybody's stance in terms of being conservative or not being conservative, we're all allowed, that's why we have freedom of speech and expression, where you're allowed to be whoever you want to be, as far as it doesn't hurt another person, right? And then secondly, it still doesn't stop whatever her stance is on slavery. It still doesn't stop our race from speaking out our truth, generations over generations and generations of our truths. Because I'm trying to make reference to what you said when you said, are you going to live in your past? And then we need to project forward, you live in your future. But the races, our races, we have refused to move forward or be in the future. We are still living in the past.
Let me read a bit of some of her speeches here, Mark. I'll come to you, Robert. She says, I've always been a conservative. I didn't know it when I was younger, but I certainly was, according to her. Margaret Thatcher was an inspiration to her growing up in Nigeria, and she blamed Badenoch's politics began to solidify when she was in Sussex. She was known for her forthright, no-nonsense style. She says, I am very straight-talking. People say that's rude because I don't couch my language in all this flowery stuff. I want people to understand what I'm saying. That's what she told.
She's very Nigerian.
So that's a Nigerian trait, yeah. So let me come to you.
Yeah, so I wanted to say something about what Nima said. Everything that she complained about is still happening. We still do not have the electricity. We still don't have water running.
Are you surviving or not?
We are surviving. But that's not the point. She said all of these things based on her experience, and it's still there. It's still happening. Number two, she called, somebody called her. They called her out. The Abike Dabiri called her. Immediately she was given that position and wanted to associate with her and all of that. And that was the reason why she came out and she said some of these things. She said some of these things.
Kemi has spoken beyond speaking with local. I don't think locally she has even had the kind of platforms where she has spoken ill about the Africans. Ill about, us, and, it's always for her political gain in the Britain political space where she plays. She's not speaking to change anything for any of you. She did not come to President Bola Tinubu to speak about what must change in Nigeria. She wasn't speaking to anybody to change anything for anybody locally. She's speaking to gain international favors in the country where she plays, where she's married, and when she's trying. That's the point for me. You can speak your truth, speak it anywhere, but you cannot discountenance the truth of the people you speak about, especially her stand on that slave and repatriation for slavery. She shouldn't have.
Let me
she shouldn't be from a black race person.
Take this call. Holding for Ade from Abuja. Thanks for calling. You're live.
All right, thank you very much. Good morning, everybody in the studio.
Good morning.
All right, I must say kudos to your elbow. You guys are doing a great job over there. If I should throw back to her statement, when she actually needs the support of Nigerians for her to get to the position where she is right now, she actually said something that she's aware with the fact that bombing in Nigeria in different parts of the country and all that, and she's saying that this is not who we are and all that. She was encouraging Nigerians because she needs our support. That was then. But right now, she actually felt she got what she wants. I understand the fact that everybody is entitled to their opinion, but please, that is very bad of her. Do you understand? It's not a good thing at all. As Nigerians, we are not happy about that. We understand the situation of things in the country. But you don't need to put that to our face over there and make us look more, I don't want to use a vulgar word right now, peradventure look more bad that they're actually seeing us over there. I know she's running a political race. She's trying to achieve something. But believe me, it's actually not okay. And I will encourage everybody that is listening to me right now to go and watch The Roots of Africa, so that we can all learn from it. Thank you very much, and God bless everyone.
Thank you very much. Do you have any comments on social media?
Okay, we have plenty of.
I think I have to go to the shop. We're going to go on the shop. We're going to come back. We continue. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right